this world, I'm just going to leave this picture of Adam Sandler here. We have a grim fascination with the bad people, slasher flicks, iconic villains like Hannibal Lecter. It often seems we're more compelled by the worst of us than the best.
People think you're just not tough enough. Well, let me tell you, right? Okay. Let me tell you. We've also got people, I think, who thought...
And when it comes to bad people, there have been plenty of real-life tales that can put campfire stories to shame. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and this is 10 real-life horror stories that will freak you out.
Tell me in a sentence who you are.
In this video, there will be content that some viewers may find upsetting, so viewer discretion is advised. Number 10, H.H. Holmes. The original Triple H, H.H. Holmes, is famous for being the first of the modern documented serial killers. He built a hotel, later known as the Murder Castle, specifically to allow him to murder its guests. His methods of killing were extensive. Hotel bedrooms that were completely soundproofed and fitted with gas lines would allow Holmes to slowly asphyxiate his victims, while other guests were locked in a large bank vault to slowly suffocate. Holmes disposed of some of the corpses via a secret chute that led directly to the basement, and when police finally caught up to him and searched the murder castle, 27 corpses were found, but so dismembered and decomposed it was difficult to see where one body ended and the next began. Number 9, the Winchester House. After the death of the world-famous rifle maker William Winchester, Sarah Winchester inherited $20.5 million, a ludicrous sum of money in 1866, as well as almost half of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, giving her $1,000 a day, which is about $30,000 a day in today's money. Oh my giddy Jesus. She then used her wealth for insane purposes to build a mansion after being told by a medium that the spirits of those her husband's rifles had killed would forever haunt her and probably kill her unless she built them a house to accommodate the spirits and never stop building it. The result was 160 rooms, 40 bedrooms, 2 ballrooms, 47 fireplaces, and over 10,000 panes of glass. Creepily, she also had a thing for the number 13, thinking it would protect her from ghosts. 13 holes in drains, 13 candles and chandeliers, and coat hooks, all in the multiples of 13. It's a really weird and it's a very strange house. And also ghosts aren't real. Number 8, Eliza Lam. In February of 2013, Eliza Lam, a 21-year-old student from Vancouver in Canada, was found dead inside the rooftop water tank of the Cecil Hotel in LA. Although the official ruling was one of accidental death due to drowning, and no traces of drugs or alcohol were in her system, this story gets a little stranger. The water tank in which Lam was found was unable to be closed from the inside to stop people from becoming trapped and drowning, you see. Also, the entrance to the roof was locked and alarmed, as was the rooftop surface itself, and no alarms were activated. The only clue as to what happened is surveillance camera footage from a lift, which doesn't really prove anything other than, was she talking to someone? It's really weird. Lam's body was only found after guests at the hotel complained about the colour, smell, and taste of the drinking water. Her death remains a mystery, even in a hotel that is famous for serial killer residents and a creepily large suicide rate. Number 7, Ed Gein. The real-life inspiration for Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Norman Bates, and Buffalo Bill was uncovered when he was connected to the disappearance of Bernice Worden, and police found human bones, a bin made of human skin covering several chairs, and skulls attached to the bedpost of Ed's cot in his home. There were bowls made of human skulls, a corset made from a woman's torso skin, leggings made from a human's leg skin. Were that not enough, police also found masks made from the skin of female heads, the face of a missing woman, Mary Hogan, constructed into a mask, along with the skull of Hogan in a box. Bernice Warden's entire head was found in a sack, and her heart was in a saucepan on the stove, ready to be cooked. Gein was tried and found insane and spent the remainder of his life in a maximum security asylum for the criminally insane. Number 6, Giles de Rye. Giles de Rye has gone down in history as a close companion of Joan of Arc and a skilled military leader in the French army. He is also remembered for the murder, torture, and sexual assault of anywhere between 80 and 800 children. The details are genuinely horrifying. He would torture children while pleasuring himself before eventually killing said child. The children were mostly burned, leaving very little evidence of the sheer number of victims. Giles de Rye was eventually found guilty after a series of investigations and burnt at the stake while simultaneously being hanged by the neck until dead. Number 5, the Silent Twins. June and Jennifer were identical twins who moved to Wales from Barbados shortly after their birth. As the only black children in the community, the twins were heavily bullied and eventually developed their own language and spoke to no one but themselves. After a series of therapists failed to get the twins to communicate with anyone, they were sent to separate boarding schools in an attempt to break their isolation. Once separated, however, the twins became completely catatonic and unable to function on even a basic level. Years after reuniting, the girls began to commit crimes, leading to a bout of arson which had them committed to Broadmoor Hospital. Throughout their 14-year incarceration, the twins came to believe it necessary that in order for one of them to live, one of them must die. And after a large debate and discussion, Jennifer, quote, chose to die. Upon moving from Broadmoor to a less secure facility, Caswell Clinic, Jennifer was rushed to hospital and died soon after of a sudden inflammation of the heart, which could not be explained by doctors or pathologists. Her death still remains a mystery to this day. Number 4, Bella in the Wych Elm. In April of 1943, 4 boys were poaching in Hagley Wood near Wychbury Hill. As they did so, one boy glanced into the hollow trunk of an elm tree and discovered a skull, which he initially took as that of an animal until they found human hair and teeth. The boys fled and called the police, who identified the body as that of a woman and that she had died 18 months previously. Unfortunately, that's all they could find out. Besides at Overtown Bridge, there is a bridge located in West Dunbartonshire, Scotland, that has caused numerous dogs at a rate of about 1 per year to commit suicide, falling about 50 feet to their deaths in the waterfalls below. Bizarrely, dogs who somehow survived the fall and were taken back to the top of the bridge immediately leapt again, attempting suicide a second time. It's not a certain answer, but the most likely cause was the potent urine of the male minks found nesting underneath the bridge, which activated the hunting instincts of the dogs, leading them to leap to their deaths in an attempt to follow the scent. In a further horrific twist, a local man called Kevin Moy threw his 2-week-old son from the bridge in 1994, believing him to be either the Antichrist or a reincarnation of the devil. Later, he attempted to commit suicide by leaping himself from the same bridge. Number 2, Edward Mordrake. The tale of Edward Mordrake is a freakish one. The man lived in complete seclusion, with his most notable feature being the face of a woman on the back of his head. Right? No, but apparently, no, seriously. He had a human face on the back of his head. It was silent, but Mordrake claims to have been kept awake by his devil twin, that it would smile when he was happy and sneer when he was weeping. Eventually he was driven to suicide, but not before demanding that the face be destroyed before burial to spare him from eternal torment. At his own request, he was interred in a waste space without stone or legend to mark his grave. And number 1, the murder of Kelly Ann Bates. The murder of Kelly Ann Bates is one of the most gruesome and horrendous in British history, and the details of the case are chilling to say the least. Tortured over a period of 4 weeks, Bates was kept prisoner in James Patterson Smith's home, usually tied by her hair to radiators or chairs, or kept with a ligature around her neck. Her killer eventually handed himself in, stating his girlfriend had drowned in the bath after a fight, but the evidence told a far grimmer story. She had 150 separate injuries, her blood was spread throughout every room of his house, and she was badly mutilated, including being burned by a hot iron. Her eyes had been removed, and she had been partially scalped. The jury spent a single hour deliberating before unanimously finding Smith guilty. It's an absolutely horrible story, and, well, sorry.